So this next story, we are talking about Nana Owiti, who is King Kaka's wife. Yeah. They have a child. They have 2 children together, and basically the story is saying that she was never ready to be in the limelight. Yeah. And like I've always said, even I'm an artist, and I feel like I would never ever date an artist. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I hate being in the limelight, but she was never ready to be in the limelight. She even said, like, for example, she can't even walk in town, like, without being, but she's developed a thick skin. She's able to, like, hold her own. But what do you guys think?
I feel like when the limelight itself, let's talk about personally, about just her life obviously changed, and maybe because she's not a musician and she's not an artist, that might have been a bit overwhelming for her to kind of get used to it. Actually, what she said was, I have wrapped my head around that sometimes he has to be away, although we don't even feel the gap because he makes sure there's communication. Life is not a competition. There's no awards for married after campus and kids followed after. I can see how, number one, his schedule is different from your usual 9 to 5, and when you are not part of the industry, it's sometimes a bit hard to kind of reconcile how this works, and sometimes it's just work, you know. But let me tell you this, as far as the quality of the people who you're going to be with in the limelight, somebody who's a bad person is going to be a bad person whether or not a limelight is on them or not. And in fact, the best thing that can happen to you is to be around somebody who's got so much attention on them, because that's going to show their real self. You know what I mean? You could meet somebody who's, like, you know, not exactly super famous or down and out, and the minute they start popping, they're a different person, you know, and that's because they're just revealing their true colors. So if you can find a happy, beautiful marriage with somebody who's in the spotlight, then you got yourself gold.
I honestly think, from personal experience, I think it's a lot easier dating someone who's not in the spotlight. I 1000% appreciate the fact that Jasper isn't, and that he also doesn't want to be. Because the thing is let me read the receipts. Actually, I wasn't ready for the attention that I get, because for me it was like I was just on normal dating. Yes, we can pay our bills and do the things we want to do together, but it occurs in the sense that you are in the limelight and everything you do becomes an issue. For example, I can't walk in town freely and do my things freely. So I definitely see where she comes from, because Jasper gets that all the time as well. Like, we could even be together and men will sort of be like, oh, you know, like, are you single? What's going on, kind of thing. And you sort of have to explain it away. But the good thing that what they've done with their relationship is, even if she's not in the limelight so often and just not photographed a lot, their relationship is still very public. That's not something that they're trying to hide, and that's something that they both know they have to communicate about. So if your relationship is open and that's not what you're trying to hide, I think it's totally easy to have someone who doesn't want to be sharing the spotlight with you or pushing issues with you or something like that. It really does boil down to what you said, that it has to be good communication, and this person has to be the person who you dated before and after the fame.
It's so true. And for me, I actually don't mind dating somebody who's in spotlight, because if their values, like my values are, this is my job. Whatever I do here, whatever I do on my Instagram, whatever I'm doing as far as making my career work and build up is separate. And then there's me. And you know what I like doing for my weekends? I like going to visit my shows and being around my cousin and chilling and binge watching The Office, you know, and I have my values that are separate from, like, the hype of all this. And if you find somebody who's exactly like that, when you come home, everyone takes off the whatever you're doing at work, and you guys are still each other, you know. But the problem becomes when you bring all that home. Oh, I'm a boss, or you know, I'm super famous at home, because the dynamic starts being about, you know, who's famous and who's not, and who's more fabulous and who isn't. You know what I mean? So if the core of your relationship is something that's pleasant and it's beautiful, it's gonna withstand whether or not he's famous or not.
No,
right?
I definitely agree. But me personally, speaking from a musician point of view, I would never date anybody in the limelight. Period. Point blank. I know what the limelight is. I know what it has to offer, and I am, like you said, I am that person who will come home and not bring the issues or bring anything home with me. But if I can find a spouse or somebody else who is like that, which I have not in Kenya. And a lot of these men are very egotistical.
Right.
But even I know King Kaka, and he's actually a very, very humble man. Even he's very respectful, and he's just awesome.
And you know what's funny, because I have dated someone who was like a musician before. I think I talked about him like Kitambo way back, and we obviously stopped dating. And he came back to Kenya, and he was just like, "Oh, it's so funny that you got famous before I did." And I was like, "Of course. What do you mean funny? It's not funny. It's because I worked at it." So that's the thing. Another issue when both of you guys are in sort of the same industry is you might be like competing and comparing. You know, two musicians dating, even if they're in entirely different genres or something, can still feel some type of way when it comes down to it, because you might have even met at different points in your career.
I feel like that's not the relationship you want to be in. If
It
you're
is
competing,
not. It is not.
If you're competing with your spouse about anything, and it's not like when he makes it big, you're like, yay, you're really thinking like, oh no, I didn't make it. Wrong. Oop, red flags. Get out. That's the wrong one.
That is absolutely why we broke
That
up.
is the wrong one. Yeah, don't compete with your spouse, because guess what? If you guys are actually thinking in a unit kind of point of view, you should know that his win and your win is actually for the both of you, right?
We should both be winning.
Anyway, you guys let us know what you think about this. The hashtag is Ebru Let's Talk, and the SMS and it's 40920. Would you ever date someone who's in a spotlight, or have you ever, and you've got some tea for us? Please spill.